I plan to be on stream for a bit here tonight. We're starting early. Two-parter. Two-parter. We're gonna get to blueprints. We're gonna do some blueprints runs after this, but we're starting early enough where I feel comfortable reading probably about a couple hours of Higurashi, and then switching over to blueprints. New arc starting today. Mind your ears. Mind them. Better be minding them. This is the mouse movement of minding your ears. Perfect. No, I'm a professional. I would never blow out any viewers' ears while streaming anything. Still finishing Expedition 33 VOD, but wow. Just wow. Yeah, we'll get... I'm probably going to jump back onto Expedition tomorrow. In my head, I was like, ooh, we should wait till, like, Friday to see more of this. But I was like, I can't wait. I've just been thinking about how the last, like... Basically how the last, like, hour or so kind of, like, unfolded. Is, very interesting. And I'm where I exactly left off. I'm very, very curious. It's not a spoiler to say, obviously, but according to the game and the console, there's still another third of the game left, and I'm very curious what exactly it means by that. I wish my sleep schedule wasn't where it is. A healthy place. I mean, yeah. Hey, the sleep, time zone difference. It never works out perfectly. I would say, what do I always say? I always say, healthy sleep schedules are way more important than these silly old streams. Let's be real. I was just about to say we're gonna have to agree to disagree then. You'd beat me to it. Here we go. Police case files. So new arc that I don't know exactly where it'll take us, but we're gonna do it. But we have to read the prologue here. An Okinomiya police station incident report. Dash. Prologue. In the far corner of my consciousness, I heard the sound of someone snoring. When I realized it was coming from me, I chased the grogginess away and slowly opened my eyes. Oh, I should say, the arc... Oh, it's Oishi. The arc we're reading is, what is it? Someutsushi? I'm probably saying it wrong, obviously, but... I think it's Someutsushi. Let me actually check I have the diagram. Someutsushi? Maybe it's pronounced like that. Something like that. Okay. Damn, it's been Someutsushi. I tell you, today, weather here, because I'm a weatherman today, today marks the first day of the year that we've hit over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, here where I live. So I'd like to think that my brain is just fried today. That is what has happened. That's why if I mess up any reading, we'll blame it on that. Right before my eyes, I found a fluorescent light shining down on me from a lightly stained ceiling. That's why we're starting blueprints in a couple hours. Hopefully it massively cools down by the time we start blueprints. I don't need my fried egg of a brain attempting to solve anything. Though I only planned to take a short rest in the break room, apparently I fell all the way asleep. I must have slept in a weird position. I felt a dull ache in my shoulders and my temple. Well, if I leave it alone for a while, the blood flow will get back to normal and I'll probably start feeling better. Yeah, feeling better. A yawn leaked out as I raised my upper body and squeezed at the back of my neck. The short hand on the clock was pointing straight up, and a single cigarette was lying in an ashtray on the table, burned down to the butt. I had no memory of smoking it, but maybe I needed one before falling asleep. If I had somehow dropped it on the sofa, it could have started a fire. That would have been fun. I was too close. I rose to my feet with my ashtray in hand as I smiled bitterly and talked to myself, and dumped the ashes in the cigarette bin in the corner of the room. A myriad of cigarette butts were piled on top of the murky water inside the can. The pungent aroma quickly forced a grimace along my face. Thanks to that smell, my drowsiness was all but gone. I need to quit smoking one of these days. Starting tomorrow. No, clock says the date has already changed, so starting today, I guess? But the urges might keep me up at night in the future, cost me the precious opportunity to cool my head. However, it'd still be better for my health than spending major chunks of my time doing nothing and not thinking about anything. Though, the habit is so deeply ingrained in me that I doubt I'd be able to quit. It'd be nice to have something else I can enjoy as much as eating, sleeping, and getting into fights. I need something to do with my days besides detective work, don't I? Well, I'm certainly not cut out for farming, no. Oh, Oishi, I've missed you. I chuckled at the mental image of myself standing in the dirt, working the fields. It's such a helpless story. Even though I'm scheduled to depart next week, I still haven't put much thought into it. The unforgettable landscape of the countryside around Okinomiya was etched into my mind. It's been so long since I visited my mother that I can't think of what her area looks like now. But they're in the planning stage for a large-scale airport. It should open in a few years, which will make transportation more convenient. That's what she said in her letter anyway, so I guess so. Well, that's good, I suppose. It's not like it'll kill me, and I won't know how much I'll enjoy it until I go. Besides, I'll be busy looking for my aging mother. That ought to kill plenty of time. I've been blessed with a strong body and living my life as I please for a long time with little regard for my parents. They say divine punishment befalls those who don't respect their parents. Divine punishment, huh? I muttered the words swirling around inside my head while picking up one of the thick files sitting on the desk in front of me and looked at the title on the cover. The series of deaths and disappearances in Hinamazawa. If divine punishment truly exists, there's probably no greater example of it than this. It's difficult to evaluate using human understanding beyond the realm of comprehension. Hinamazawa Village. Officially known as the Hinamazawa district of Shishibone City, a village of around 2,000 people where the power of the mayor and public authorities paled in comparison to the three great families who effectively ruled the area since ancient times. And the faith in their local god, Oyashiro-sama, that the residents passed down through the generations, along with the curse said to have befallen non-believers in recent years. But it's all gone now, and the people who are left behind have been scattered across the surrounding area. And it all began in the cases summarized in these files. Okay. A little prologue? A little prologue for you? Just to whet the appetite, I assume. Manga Gamer. 7th mod. Shout out. 7th mod. Alright, so let's see what we're actually reading. I probably should have done research, but I actually don't know what is in this. All I know is this face looks unfamiliar. So I'm assuming we're getting at least one new character. Disdain passing. Someutsushi. Someutsushi. I'm sure that is 100% accurate pronunciation. This chapter can be read after completing chapter 3. So it is a chapter 3 console arc thing. Natsumi Kimiyoshi moved away from Okinomiya 1 year ago and is seeking a happy life in Kakiuchi City. Kimiyoshi? Natsumi Kimiyoshi? Yeah, I know. We got a family tie, but her ties to Hinamizawa inescapably follow her. Okay, so from this, we've got the similar name. Obviously, we recognize Kimiyoshi. We understand that if you leave we understand the whole leaving Okinomiya, or she moved away from Okinomiya 1 year ago and is seeking a happy life in a different place. So she left Okinomiya, but then the ties to Hinamizawa inescapably follow her. So you're leaving the area. We know what, in theory, happens based on the curse. How exciting. New place, new characters. A lone girl was spending her days peacefully in a new land. But a shadow from the world she left behind suddenly came crashing down. Insecurity emerged from her guilty conscience, and trust warped into doubt. A single day reveals how fragile and fleeting that everyday life it truly was. She just wanted to be happy. Nevertheless, the girl was unqualified for even that. Damn. Someone once said it's like the air. You cannot see it, but of course it's always there. Someone once said it's like the water. It's neither sweet nor bitter because it has no taste. So of course they perceive every day as uninteresting. That's why everyone is unaware of their own happiness. What a message. Beyond the darkness, a large number of red lights came. Red lights could be seen flashing intermittently. Oh, how are we reading this name? Is it Tomoe? Are we already gonna settle on Tomoe? Tomoe. It's really dark, huh? It was a forest road deep in the mountains, far from civilization. Of course, there weren't any street lights, just the headlights of the car slowly revealing the ground from the darkness. The road was paved, but it was still difficult to manage the timing of acceleration and deceleration on a winding mountain road. Because of that, a slight loss of focus was all it took for the white guardrails to appear right before Tomoe's eyes, sending a shiver down her spine countless times along the way. I'm a bit late. That took longer than I expected. Tomoe glanced at the clock on the dashboard, lightly drumming her fingers on the steering wheel. If anything, the fact that she arrived only 10 minutes behind schedule without any help should be proof of her driving skills and outstanding sense of direction. But it was clear everyone would make fun of her if she claimed anything like that, so she just attributed it to good luck. We got some nice sound effects already. In the clearing at the end of the forest road, 2 fire trucks and 2 police vehicles from the mobile investigation team was already parked, with the red warning lights flashing. While admiring their fast arrival, the recently promoted Detective Tomoe Minai opened the driver's side door, drew the white gloves from her inner pocket, and skillfully slipped them on both hands. As soon as the outside air struck her, Tomoe faintly smelled the irritating odor of burning trees. It was hot and humid, despite being close to midnight. She was surrounded by trees and foliage, yet nothing felt fresh. Chief Inspector Minai, thank you for coming. Likewise. Can you point me to the scene? It's over that way. Hayami-san's team arrived here first, so they have already joined the investigation. Understood. Oh, wait. Tomoe took a step, then looked back. A subordinate who has been riding with her finally emerged from the passenger seat, still sleepily rubbing his eyes. Hey! Let's go, Fujita-kun.
いつまで寝てるの？シャキッとしなさい。
How long are you going to sleep? Come on, shake it off.
けど、見ないさ。
But, Manai-san.
自分は張り込みで昨日から一睡もしてなくて、ちょうど寝るところを叩き起こされてきたんですから。
He's already my favorite. I haven't slept since yesterday because of the stakeout, and I got woken up just as I was about to finally get some shut-eye. Yawn.
だからって上司に運転させて助手席でグースかとはいい度胸よね。
Is that your excuse for making your superior drive while you doze off in the passenger seat? Got some nerve. Plus, Tomoe muttered to herself, glaring at her constantly yawning subordinate, I was up all night too.
そりゃ確かに申し訳ありませんでしたけど。
Well, I'm really sorry about that.
にしても、ミナイさん、眠くないんですか？
But still, aren't you sleepy, Manai-san?
気の持ちようよ。
It's all in your frame of mind.
ボケた頭で刑事が務まるかっての。
After all, what good is a detective with a dull mind?
それに明日は年休なんだし、戻れば嫌っていうほど寝れるじゃない。
Besides, tomorrow's a holiday, so you'll be able to sleep as much as you want when you get back.
タフというかなんていうか、俺には真似できませんよ。
You really are tough, huh? Can't compete with that.
とても同い年とは思えないっていうか。
Are you and I really the same age?
ほう。
Oh?
女性に向かって年の話をするたいい度胸してるじゃないの、藤田巡査部長。
You got some nerve to talk to a woman about her age, huh? Sergeant Fujita. A wicked glint appeared in Tomoe's eyes. Being faced with a glare as terrifying as that of legendary Medusa, the detective called Fujita broke into a cold sweat.
いや、俺じゃなかった。本官は別に。
Oh, no, I would never.
署に戻ったら始末書書く？
When we get back, are you going to write that formal apology?
この前の万引きの現行犯逮捕の時、犯人思いっきりぶん投げて店のガラス3枚も割っちゃったのよね。
For the time when we were arresting that shoplifter and you threw him against the shop's glass and broke 3 panes?
あれやりすぎだって店長さんから苦情が来てたんだけど。
Shop owner filed a complaint saying it was unnecessary force. Huh?
とりあえずあの時は目をつぶってあげたけど。
At the time, I looked the other way.
ガラス代の弁償も経費で落とすのやっぱ申請却下するわね。
However, I could just drop the reimbursement application and leave you to cover the expenses.
あのガラス3枚とも特注らしいから結構値が張るみたいだけど、まあなんとかなるでしょう。
Apparently, the 3 glass panes are custom made, so they're pretty expensive, but you'll manage to pay it somehow.
1ヶ月間昼食とパチンコをやめたら十分足りるだろうしねえ。
If you skip lunch and pachinko for a month, that should be enough, right?
すいません、警部。
I'm sorry, Chief.
もう起きました。
I'm wide awake already.
ならよし。
Good.
行くわよ、藤田くん。
Let's get going, Fujita-kun.
鬼。
You're a demon.
それじゃあ現場までご案内し
Awkward.
ます。
Well, then I'll show you to the scene now. The detective who greeted Tomoe smiled bitterly and shrugged, leading them onward. This female police officer who just overwhelmed her subordinate was becoming famous back at the prefectural police headquarters. And regardless of her appearance, the 1st Investigation Division's clearance rating had become one of the best in the prefecture since she joined the department. Yellow tape reading no trespassing had already been hung near the base of the mountain path. Tomoe casually stepped over the tape, but suddenly frowned when her feet touched the wet ground.
あ、気をつけてください。
Oh, please be careful.
その辺りは結構濡れて滑りやすくなっていますから。
This area is pretty wet and it's easy to slip.
みたいですね。
Seems like it. Tomoe wished he had said that earlier, but not feeling like complaining for real, she pulled her foot out of the mud without letting the irritation show. And when she raised her eyes upward, she saw the gentle slope of the path was totally immersed in muddy black soil.
小規模の不審火だと聞きましたが、ずいぶん放水したんですね。
I heard that there was a small fire, but it looks like they need a lot of water to extinguish it.
消防団の話だと当初の火の勢いはものすごかったそうです。
When I spoke with the fire department, they said the initial momentum of the fire was terrible.
この辺りは樹木も多く、彼らが到着した時には周りにも延焼しかけていたので、念のためと聞いております。
There are a lot of trees around here, and when they arrived, the fire was starting to spread, so heard they took precautionary measures.
この火災は柿内サービスエリアの通報だったんですよね。
This fire was reported in the Kakiuchi service area, right?
っていうか、あそこから見えるなんてよっぽどの火力ですよ。
It must have been quite the fire to be visible from there.
そうね。
Right.
真夜中で電灯もないとはいえ、そう簡単に見える距離じゃないわ。
Even though it's the middle of the night and there are no electric lights nearby, it's not easy to see a fire from that distance. Tamai nodded while looking back in the general direction of the Kakichi service area, her nose twitching as she noticed a strange smell in the air. In addition to the odor of trees, she smelled oil and the aroma of burning kerosene as well. And as she drew closer to the scene, that particular smell grew thicker, the smell of the tragedy waiting ahead. As they moved a little farther ahead, they encountered an opening in the forest with several men there looking about with flashlights in hand. It was a gentle grassy area that hikers use as a resting place. Tomorrow, however, surely it'll be rumored in other ways.
早見さん、
Hayami-san!
柿内署の未来警部が到着しました。
This is Chief Inspector Manai of Kakiuchi Station.
ああ、お疲れ様です。
Oh, thank you for coming.
意外に早かったですね。迷いませんでしたか？
You arrived surprisingly fast. You didn't get lost on the way?
え
Oh, we didn't.
え、ずっと一本道でしたから、なんとか。
It was just a single road the whole time, so we managed somehow.
藤田君はずっと寝てただけでしょうが。
We? Weren't you asleep the whole time?
それはともかく、状況は？
Anyway, what is the current situation?
まあ、無線で連絡した通りです。
Well, as you heard over the radio.
こんがりといい感じとでも言いましょうか。
It's well done, you could say. The elder detective, Hayami, lowered his shoulders. Just then, the young detective ran down the nearby slope and slipped past the three of them while holding his hands to his mouth.
ああ、だから見るのはやめとけって言ったのに。
Oh man, and I told him not to look.
あいつしばらく肉食えんだろうな。
Guess he won't be eating meat for a while. Gross.
現場はこの先ですか？
Is the scene up ahead?
あ、はい。
Yes.
あ、警部はご覧いただかなくても、あとは我々が。
Oh, you don't have to look, Chief Inspector. We'll handle everything ourselves. Even though she was his superior, Hayami, knowing he was being disrespectful, tried to gently stop Tomoe from looking, taking her inexperienced age and gender into consideration. However, Tomoe raised one hand and calmly asserted herself.
大丈夫です。慣れていますよ。
It's all right. I'm used to this sort of thing.
焼死体には。
Dealing with burned corpses, that is. Oh, a burned corpse expert, huh? A barrel was illuminated by work lights near the center of the opening. The air quickly grew stagnant as they approached it. Tomoe took a step, suddenly felt something was off. Before she had time to think, the shadow of something in the barrel caught her eye, and she went to investigate. She grabbed her flashlight and pointed it inside. Upon seeing what was inside, Tomoe's chest tightened in pain. She quietly meditated and said a prayer for the recently deceased.
ひどいもんです。
This is horrible.
頭のてっぺんからつま先まで真っ黒焦げですよ。
Burned to a crisp from head to toe.
確かに。
Indeed.
着衣の有無もこれじゃほとんどわかりませんね。
It's impossible to tell if this person was even wearing clothes.
一応体型から女性じゃないかとの見立てですがね。
For what it's worth, based on the body shape, we think it belonged to a woman.
年齢は見ての通り不明です。
Her age is undetermined, as you can see.
まあ詳しいことは司法解剖してみないと判断できませんが。
Well, we won't learn much more until the autopsy is completed.
抵抗した様子はありませんね。
I don't see any evidence of resistance.
目立った外傷もざっと見たところ特になしか。
There aren't any wounds that stand out at first glance either. After muttering a prayer, Hayami noticed Tomoe fiercely examining the body and let out a sigh. She was quite the courageous woman, so there was no surprise she was able to become a chief inspector at such a young age. At such young age? Okay. In contrast, her subordinate cowered in fear behind her, unable to even look at the body.
みなさん、よく平気っすね。
Minai-san, how can you handle this so well?
自分、ここにいるだけで胸がムカムカしてきますよ。
Just being here is making me sick.
吐くなら向こうでしなさいよ。
If you're going to vomit, do it somewhere else.
現場汚したら蹴っ飛ばすから。
I'll kick your ass if you contaminate the crime scene. Okay.
ところで速水さん、消防団からの報告を聞かせていただけますか？
by the way, Hayami-san, could you tell me the latest status from the fire department?
ああ、はいはい。
Of course.
えーっと、
Hayami took out the black notebook from his breast pocket and flipped through the pages, reading aloud the statement he just received.
23時08分、柿内サービスエリア内の公衆電話から火災の方を受けて、G ブロック担当部署より第3消防分団と消防車2台が到着。
After fire was reported from a public phone in the Kakichi service area, 3 fire brigades and 2 fire trucks arrived from the department in charge of G Block at 11:08 p.m.
同11分、放水及び消火活動を開始。火災に延焼の危険があったため、鎮火後も放水を継続。同19分、放水を終了。
At 11:11 p.m., water discharge and firefighting activity began. Because there was a risk of the fire spreading, the discharge continued even after the fire was extinguished. At 11:19 p.m., water discharge ceased.
23時30分頃、火の出元と思われるドラム管内に人の焼死体らしき物体を発見し、消防車からの無線にて警察署へ通報。
At around 11:30 p.m., firefighters discovered what seemed to be a burned corpse stuck in the barrel that was thought to have been the source of the fire. Contact the police via the fire truck radio.
その数分後に柿内署の機動捜査隊が現場に急行し、23時41分、早見以下当直の刑事が検証を開始。
A few minutes later, the Kakuichi Station Mobile Investigation Team rushed to the scene. At 11:41 p.m., a group of detectives led by Hayami began the investigation.
以上が消防団の数名に聞き込みを行った内容です。
That is everything the firefighters reported to me.
わかりました。
I see.
それから周辺に何か遺留物は発見できましたか？
Then, have you discovered anything left in the vicinity?
いえ、残念ながら
No, unfortunately.
林道の終点からここまで可能な限り捜索しましたが、あいにく凶器らしきものも被害者の所持品の類も見当たりませんでした。
We searched all the way to the end of the forest road, but regrettably we couldn't find anything resembling a weapon, nor any of the victim's belongings.
もっとも夜が明けてから改めて捜索を行ってみないと断言はできない現状ですが。
We can't do much more in the dark, so we will try searching again in the morning.
なるほど。
I see.
そういえば車は？
Oh, by any chance did you notice any cars? Tomoe asked Hayami as the question crossed her mind. This forest is far from civilization. It would have taken a considerable amount of time to walk here on foot. Although Tomoe managed to drive here fine, this narrow, dimly lit forest road was quite dangerous. She didn't think anyone would be comfortable traveling here without a car. So, the victim rode here in a car. Some trace of it may have been left behind. However, Hayami shook his head and answered.
いや、我々もそう思ったんですがね。
No, though we thought of that too.
あいにく到着時にはそれらしき車両は見当たりませんでした。
Unfortunately, when we arrived, there were no vehicles here.
それから消防団にも確認したんですが、目の届く限り付近に不審な車は一台も見当たらなかったとのことです。
I also checked with the fire department, but between all of us, we found no traces of a car.
一台もですか？
Not a single one?
はい。
Right.
もちろんその他の移動手段についても周辺を探索しましたが、自転車すらも残されておりませんでしたね。
Of course, we tried to search for other means of transportation as well, but we didn't even find a bicycle.
ということは、被害者は誰かの運転で自動車などに乗ってきたか、運ばれてここに来た。
Which means that the victim was a passenger aboard someone else's car or was carried here in some other way.
そう考える方が自然でしょうか。
Isn't it natural to think so?
ええ。
Yeah.
そういう意味では自殺の線は消えましたな。
In that sense, suicide is no longer a possibility. To my nod in agreement, it was clear even without going through past records that the possibility of suicide, with the exception of a planned group suicide, was practically non-existent. And the possibility of an accident was slim for the same reason. If this was an accident, the victim's companion would have made an attempt to contact authorities.
ということは、やっぱ殺しで決まりですかね。
So, in the end, we're going with murder?
おそらく。
Probably.
それに遺体の状況から見ても被害者が抵抗した様子は見受けられない。
Also, based on the condition of the body, the victim did not put up any resistance.
ということは焼き殺されたというよりも殺されてから焼かれたといったところでしょうか。
So, rather than being burned to death, was the victim killed first, and the body burned afterwards?
だとしても何もわざわざ焼かなくてもとは思いますけどね。
Even then, why bother with burning it?
藤田君、知ってる？
Fujita-kun, did you know?
焼殺っていうのは加害者の感情が最も現れた方法と言われているのよ。
Burning the body is often used as a way to vent the perpetrator's emotions.
怨恨とか見せしめとかそういうこと。
To satisfy a grudge, or to make a statement. That sort of thing. Fujita had nothing to say that explanation. Hayami, knowing Tomoe's past, let out a sigh and deliberately stayed silent. Tomoe noticed the reaction and coughed awkwardly.
いずれにしても視界がはっきりしないこの状況で推測だけ先走っても仕方ないわ。
Either way, in this situation where details are scarce, there's not much point in guessing.
朝になって周辺が確認できるようになるまで現場は維持でお願いします。
Please keep an eye on the crime scene until we can see the surroundings in the morning.
まあそれに加えて詳細は鑑識の結果待ち
That, and waiting for the details from forensics.
というところなんですがね。
That's about all we can do for right now.
何か引っかかることでも？
What's the matter? Tomoe was a bit confused by Hayami's choice of words, and then she suddenly looked around before returning her gaze back to Hayami.
そういえば鑑識は？
Speaking of forensics, where are they?
まだ到着していないんですか？
Have they not arrived yet? Tomoe finally figured out what felt off to her. The forensics team was nowhere to be seen. When the mobile investigation team gets dispatched from the prefectural police headquarters, a few people in charge of forensics accompany them almost immediately. Even if they were dispatched to a different site, someone else is usually available.
道に迷っているんでしょうか？
Are they lost?
藤田君、車戻って無線かけてみて。
Fujita-kun, head back to the car and try reaching them on the radio.
あ
Oh!
あいやいや私らと一緒に来てたんですけどね。
No, they came with us, but
実はもう返しちゃったんですよ。
we, sent them back already.
え？
Huh?
どうしてですか？
Why?
あ申し訳ないです。
I'm sorry.
私もついさっき気づいたんですけどね。
I also just noticed a while ago, Hayami scratched his head, continuing after some hesitation.
消防団からの連絡は柿内エリアの担当でしたからね。
The fire department contacted the Kakiuchi area.
うっかりしてました。
I was careless.
ここお隣さんの管轄なんですよ。
This area is actually under a neighboring prefecture's jurisdiction.
え？
Huh?
またですか？
Again?
しゃー
Oh, man. Before Tomoe could react, Fujita let out an embarrassing wail and looked up to the sky.
ちょっと藤田君、
Fujita-kun?
何なのその反応は？みっともない。
Get a hold of yourself. What are you screaming for?
叫びたくもなりますよ。
What for?
ミナイさん、警部だって先月のあれを忘れたわけじゃないでしょ？
You haven't forgotten what happened last month either, have you, Manai-sa, Chief?
過ぎたことよ。
That's already behind us. Tomoe, maintaining a poker face, paid the complaints no heed. Fujita, however, was still stomping on the ground, scratching his head in frustration.
おいおい、現場を荒らすなよ。
Come on, don't disturb the crime scene.
泥跳ねてるっての。
You're splashing mud everywhere.
ああ、すいません。
It's like a petulant child. Oh, sorry about that.
けど頭に来るのはしょうがないでしょう。
But don't I have all the right to be mad?
こっちは言いがかりでひどい目にあったんですから。
I was the one who paid for this kind of thing last time too.
ああ、そういえばあの時も南井警部と組んでいたのは君だったな。
Oh yeah, you were Chief Inspector Manai's partner at the time too, right?
そうですよ。
Yeah.
逃走中の犯人車両を追跡して高速道路を越えたのは不可抗力だったってのに。
It wasn't our mistake that we crossed the highway while pursuing the fleeing criminal.
捜査管区の侵害行為だって何なんですか？
Yet we got hit with a police jurisdiction violation.
普通に走れば追いつけると思ったんだけどね。
I would have been able to catch up to him if he drove normally.
犯人が一般車に衝突して停車させて道を塞いできたのは計算外だった。
But I didn't think he would crash into a civilian car and block the road. In fact, Tomoe's prefectural police and the prefectural police next door still aren't officially cooperating in wide area investigations. As such, in case of a criminal crossing the prefectural border or an investigation taking place across the border like today, there was an unspoken agreement between the two to just contact each other instead of violating each other's area of jurisdiction. Even if she didn't like it, Tomoe knew full well that border crossing was frowned upon. Thinking back on it, Tomoe now realized that getting mad at the criminal who had harmed civilians was a mistake. Tomoe didn't realize she had crossed prefectural borders until after she forced the criminal to stop by the roadside, dragged him from the driver's seat, and handcuffed him.
でもだからってそれでなんで南井さんが戒告処分なんですか
But why was Minai-san reprimanded?
運転していたのは俺ですから南井さんに責任はないでしょ
I was the one driving, so she shouldn't have been responsible, right?
お前だったら減給になっていたよ。
Because if you were the one reprimanded, your pay would get cut.
結婚したてのくせに嫁さん泣かす気か
You just got married, right? How would your wife feel about that?
警部が肩代わりしてくれたことくらい理解しろ。
Don't you realize that Chief Inspector Minai covered for you? Oh,
別にそれだけの理由じゃないですよ。
it's not like that was the only reason. Tomoe quickly interjected, hiding her relief. Looks like others thought she did it to cover up for Fujita, after all. She'd be lying if she said that wasn't her intention at all, but more than that, she couldn't forgive herself for making such a mistake, let alone for now owing the head of police, who was also kind of a natural enemy to her. His intentions aren't bad, quite the opposite, he constantly tried to treat her well, but thanks to certain awkward circumstances, she can't afford to accept his favors. Feeling like an ungrateful brat, Tomoe clicked her tongue in self-deprecation.
そもそも越境が予想された時点でお隣さんに捜査協力を申し出ておけば問題は起こらなかった。
In the first place, if I foresaw the border crossing and contacted the neighboring department early on, asking to cooperate with them, none of this would have happened.
それを怠ったんだから先方の筋は通っている。
I failed to do that, so this is on me.
一応ね。
Officially, at least.
それに理由はどうあれ一般車両を巻き込んでしまったのは事実だし、あの後の交通整理で沢口署さんに迷惑をかけたのは確かなこと。
Plus, no matter the reason, it is true that a civilian vehicle got involved, which made things difficult for Sawaguchi Station traffic control.
だからこれは私の管理責任の問題よ。
That's why that was my responsibility.
けど
But
それより速水さん、
more importantly, Hayami-san,
この件を隣の県警本部と沢口署さんに連絡は？
have you contacted the neighboring police headquarters in Sawaguchi Station? Tomoe was grateful for Fujita's sympathy, but she ended that discussion right there. They had other problems to address. It was only a matter of time before Sawaguchi Station, the neighboring prefectural police they were on such bad terms with, would notice something was up. As such, it would be best to inform them about the incident and hand it over right away, or right now, while the investigation is still in the early stages. And Hayami, having more than twice the experience of Tomoe, understood her intention completely.
その点は抜かりなく、ちょうど警部たちが到着する直前に全部済ませました。
Yes, I took care of everything before you arrived, of course.
鑑識の連中をさっさと引き上げさせたのは、つまりはそういうことです。
So I made the guys from forensic leave so soon, too.
もし彼らがとどまっていたら、連絡もなしに現場検証を行うとは何事か。
If they were still here by the time the guys from Sawaguchi got here,
なんてことにもなりかねませんからね。
they would most likely chew us out for investigating the scene without letting them know first.
なるほど。英断です。
I see. Wise decision. Being the hard-boiled cop he is, Hayami made the right call. Sending the forensics team. I'm trying to read like at a decent pace, so when I keep slurring through forensics. Sending the forensics team away and leaving only the mobile investigation team on site will make it easier to justify their actions to the Sawaguchi police. They can claim that they rushed to the scene in response to a tip, but identified it to be outside their jurisdiction and opted to maintain the scene as is.
というわけですから、
We'll go with that.
警部たちも早いとこ引き上げた方がいいですね。
So, be better if you left soon, too.
お隣さんもそろそろ到着する頃ですから、顔を合わせたりなんてしたら、また難癖つけられるでしょうし。
Our neighbors should be arriving soon, and seeing you are here would just give them another thing to complain about.
そもそも気分悪いでしょう。
This place doesn't exactly make for a pleasant stay anyway, does it?
ですね。
True.
そうしますか、藤田君。
Ready to leave, Fujita-kun?
はいはい。
Yeah.
でもそれならなんで俺たちをここに？
But if that's the case, why are we even here? Fujita suddenly raised a question. They had radios, so they could have communicated the boundary issue much earlier. However, Hayami laughed and responded.
納得いかんでしょ。
Wouldn't it be unfair?
林道に入ったら警部たちの書き打ち書の管轄。そこに今回の犯人が潜んでいるかもしれないのに、その犯行現場を確認しないままおめおめと引き返す。
The entrance to the forest road falls in the jurisdiction of Kakuchi Station. Culprit could have been hiding there, yet you'd have to turn back without even investigating the scene.
奇想としても真夜中に所轄さんを呼び出しておいて、土産もなく門前払いさせるのは不義理に当たりますからね。
Calling the jurisdiction officer in the middle of the night, even if she's a part of the mobile investigation team, and then sending her back with empty hands would be unacceptable.
早見さん。
Hayami-san.
バタバタっとやっちゃったので申し訳ありませんが、一応現場と被害者の写真は鑑識に行って撮らせてあります。
I got the forensics team to take photos of the crime scene and the victim, but it was all done in a hurry, so sorry if they aren't up to snuff.
話は通しておきますので、何か関連の事件が起こった際には使ってやってください。
I'll run it by them, so feel free to ask for the photos if some related case pops up.
気を使わせましたね。
Thank you so much.
いえいえ、
Don't worry about it.
我々奇想は姫さんのファンですからね。
Here at the mobile investigation team, we're your fans, princess. Hayami let out a boisterous laugh as if to dispel the sentimental mood. Tomoe wasn't very fond of the nickname, but this time it was a little comforting.
それでは早見さん、
Well then, Hayami-san.
この後もお疲れ様ですが、沢口署さんへの引き継ぎをお願いします。
Keep up the good work. I'll be counting on you to work things out with Sawaguchi Station.
了解しました、南井警部。
Understood, Chief Inspector Manai. Nodding, Tomoe turned around and descended the mountain path. Fujita wore a concerned expression while he followed her down. Fujita, who took over driving on the way back, was still feeling pretty angry.
藤田君、そろそろ落ち着いたら？
Hey, Fujita-kun, how about you calm down already?
しかしですね、皆さん。
Well, this is terrible, Manai-san.
もう過ぎたことよ。
You can let it go, it's already behind us. That said, Tomoe turned to look at the scenery flowing outside the window. Right, it was already over. But, just like Detective Fujita said, she definitely didn't forget. Even now, Tomoe remembered the persistent mockery and the warped and greedy attitude of the inspector from Sawaguchi Station. She remembered his haughty way of speaking, as if he had caught the most wanted criminal. Later, she heard that the man had failed the chief inspector promotion exam many times and held a grudge against Tomoe, who earned that promotion before her 30s. Bitter, bitter man. It's not like being a female manager hasn't invited a lot of prejudice and curious eyes before. As such, she thought she was used to that kind of thing, but that was the first time she got met with so much obvious and unreserved malice. Consequently, on that night she became drunk enough to dull her consciousness, and she somehow traveled to her sister Madoka's house around midnight. The next morning, her sister didn't ask anything about the previous night. She only greeted her with a good morning, and served an unusually good breakfast along with Tomoe's favorite coffee.
それにしても、
Even so,
何？
what is it?
皆さんは広域捜査官の肩書きもお持ちなんでしょ？
Manai-san, you have the title of regional investigator, don't you?
だったら越境捜査を行うことに問題はないはずじゃないですか。
In that case, should jurisdiction boundaries be a problem at all?
さっきも言ったけど、お隣の県警さんとは協定について現在も調整中。
I told you before, we are still negotiating agreement with the prefectural police next door.
それに、こっちの県警本部長と向こうの本部長って以前から県営の仲らしいから。
Plus, the chief of our prefectural headquarters and the chief over there have always fought like cats and dogs.
当分はまとまることもなさそうね。
It's unlikely that things will be settled anytime soon.
そんなの変ですよ。
That sounds complicated.
まったく。
Yeah, absolutely.
刑事魂と桜の大門が聞いて呆れるわ。
They should be ashamed. Plus, Detective Fujita didn't have to remind her. Tomoe had already repeatedly appealed the necessity of the regional investigation. If anything, Tomoe herself was even more angered and frustrated than him, as her plea still bore no fruit. Even the police have different opinions and values from prefecture to prefecture. Their strong regional loyalties cause their actions to become selfish, inefficient, and vertically divided. The boundary between the two prefectures near Kakuichi Station symbolizes this fact perfectly.
前の県警の方がよっぽどマシだったかもね。
My previous post in the prefectural police was a lot better.
なんでこんなとこに来ちゃったんだろうな。
Why did I even come to this place?
見ないさ。
Manai-san. It was disappointing. She yearned to become the kind of policeman her father was, as the main office promised her, but every advancement in life was met by unreasonable conflict. She felt pathetic. She longed to be a symbol of justice, to be proud to follow in the image of her father, but little by little, she couldn't help but doubt that she couldn't help but doubt that was anything more than an empty fantasy.
もう
This again.
せっかく納得しようとしてたのに、藤田君のおかげでまた怒りがぶり返してきたじゃないの。
I nearly moved on, but your outbursts brought all this back again.
え、
Huh?
俺のせいですか？
Is this my fault?
そうよ。
That's right.
こうなったらやけ食いしてやる。
When things
どう
when things get like this, I resort to binge eating. Just as she said that, Tomoe spotted a sign for a hamburger shop on the side of the road. 1 kilometer ahead, open 24 hours, was written there in large text.
藤田君、この先ドライブスルーがあるって。
This is where I'm supposed to say, oh, she's just like me, for real, or something like that. Fujita-kun, there's a drive-thru up ahead.
次の料金所近いからちょっと降りて寄ってくれない？
Since there's a toll booth coming up, could we drop in for a little while?
今からですか？
Right now?
まだ午前の2時ですよ。
Isn't it almost 2 a.m.?
たまにはいいじゃないの。
It doesn't hurt once in a while.
24時間営業みたいだし、お店に迷惑かけるわけじゃないから全然問題なし。
Looks like they're open 24 hours, then it's not like we'll bother them. There's no issue.
というか見ないさ。よく肉空気になりますね。
I mean, Minai-san, you're up for eating meat?
そのタフな精神が本当に羨ましいです。
I envy your tough spirit.
けど太りますよ。
But won't you get fat? Probably not something you should say, Fujita.
んだと
What did you just say?
決めた。ハンバーガー藤田君にもおごってあげるから。
Ah, it's decided. Hamburgers. Fujita-kun, you're getting one too.
だからこれ命令、必ず食べるように。
So this is an order. You have to eat one.
ちょっと
Oh, wait a minute.
無理ですよ。
That's unreasonable.
見ないさんと違って俺胃に入りませんって。
I'm not like you. I don't have the stomach for it.
却下。
Denied.
ちなみに完食できなきゃ始末書ね。
By the way, if you don't eat the whole thing, I'll have you write that formal apology.
頑張ってね。
Good luck.
あんたやっぱり鬼です。
Ah, you really are a demon. Eat that hamburger.
それにしても
Even so,
なんですか？
what is it? While she gazed at the flowing scenery outside the window, Tomoe muttered softly.
もしあれが殺人だとしたら
If that was a murder,
犯人はどういう意図だったんだろ
what was the killer's intention? Burning the victim or burning a corpse deep in the mountains? They seemed like plausible scenarios at first glance, but there was actually a major contradiction. The main advantage of committing a crime deep in the mountains was the length of time until discovery. Prolonging the time until the crime was discovered would have given the culprit that much more time to flee. It would have made the police investigation more difficult as well. However, in this case, the criminal announced the crime by lighting the suspicious fire that drew the police to the scene. So why did they commit murder so deep in the mountains? And why did they leave the corpse there like that?
う。藤田君はどう思う？
Fujita-kun, what do you think
この事件。
about this incident?
むしろ聞きたいのは俺の方ですよ。
Rather, I want to know that myself.
見ないさんこそどうですか？
Minai-san, how did this happen? And why? Of course, Tomoe had no answer. However, someone chose such a troubling place for a mere murder and left them with this strange mystery. Lingering uncertainty brought an ache to Tomoe's chest. Consider it A mystery.
Natsumi?
Natsumi's mom. Natsumi! I heard a loud voice sharply calling me. The surreal experience forced me out of my dream.
Natsumi!
Natsumi!
いつまで寝てるの?
More new characters? Perhaps? Natsumi, how long are you going to sleep? Needless to say, it was my mom's voice. Thump, 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 thump. I heard the sound of footsteps climbing the stairs and approaching. I pulled a blanket over my head to block the sound. Waking up would have been a waste. I wanted to get back to dreaming. Look at that poster. Cat looking at stars. Big fan. Is that a cat? I'm pretty sure it's a cat. However, Mom opened the door to my room with no regard for my modest happiness and slowly entered my room.
いつまで寝てるの? ほら、Natsumi?
How long are you going to sleep? Hey, Natsumi. Illegal entry into a teenage girl's room. This was a huge violation of my privacy. I exaggeratedly murmured this in my sleep. Of course, that didn't reach your mom's ears.
どうせ昨日も夜更かししたんでしょう.
You were up late yesterday again, weren't you?
夜起きて朝寝るなんて生活、体に毒なのよ.
Staying up all night and sleeping all morning is poisoning your body. Yawn. Ugh, so nosy. But Mom was right about that. I wasn't getting enough sleep. Anyway, the homework assigned yesterday was awful. Banging my head to complete it by today took a tremendous amount of time. Still, staying up late at night playing was problematic, but I wondered if missing sleep due to studying was more acceptable.
まさか、授業中に昼寝なんてしてないでしょうね.
Wow, you haven't been sleeping in class, have you?
最近ご飯もあんまり食べないし.
God,
お菓子じゃ大
Mom.
きくなれないわよ.
You said nag, 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 Mom. And you haven't been eating your dinner recently. Can't grow big or just eating sweets. God, Mom, you're pretty energetic early in the morning. Vaguely thinking that, I realized that Mom was starting to go off on another of her never-ending rants, so I tried to escape to the safe zone in my futon. But my enemy was formidable. In the blink of an eye, whoosh, my blanket was snatched and thrown aside.
いい加減にしなさい.
Give me a break.
学校遅れるわよ.
You'll be late for school.
ちょっと夏美、それは返事なの?
Trying to channel my inner teenage girl to bad success. Hey, Natsumi, was that a reply?
ただの寝言?
Or just sleep talking?
まったく.
Seriously.
お母さんちゃんと起こしたからね.
I did try to wake you up, okay? Just keep making the same noise. After a small sigh, Mom left the room. I listened to confirm if she was gone, then used my toes to grab the blanket that fell under the bed and pulled it up. Then, I was about to fall into a world of peaceful sleep again. Mom probably doesn't know how stressful it is to attend school in the city. Sleep should not be taken lightly. Plus, it's tiring trying to get... I didn't know I had the mouse right there. Sorry about that. Plus, it's tiring trying to get along with unfamiliar people. And I couldn't have predicted that city life would be so different from the town I came from. It's a big deal with a huge handicap and a lot of stress. I remembered my introduction on my first day at the new school. On my homeroom teacher's urging, I stood at the corner of the podium, scared. In front of me was a classmate raised in the city that I couldn't believe was the same age. Everyone looked so cute, so cool. I, on the other hand, was bashfully wearing an unfamiliar uniform, like a little kid at the Shichigo-san festival. That reference definitely doesn't go above my head. It made me feel strongly out of place, as if I suddenly appeared in a school drama on TV.
沖宮から来た君吉夏美です.
I came here from Okinomiya. I'm Natsumi Kimiyoshi. Also, I'm just now kind of slightly piecing this together. This is vaguely kind of like a reverse Kechi Maibara situation. Didn't he was more from the city and then moved obviously to Okinomiya or Hinamizawa. This is like a reverse of that, right? She came from there, move now more into the city. Unless I'm misunderstanding something. I came here from Okinomiya. I'm Natsumi Kimiyoshi.
よろしくお願いします。
Nice to meet you. Get out of here, loser. Finally, greeting was over, but for everyone in class, Okinomiya was a place they had never heard of, so they responded flabbergasted. And, as soon as class began, the teacher started writing words and formulas that seemed to be from another world. It was a battle of knowledge I had never seen before.
こんなの習ってない。
Was I ever taught anything like this? Although I managed to open a textbook somehow, the beginning of a difficult problem was already written on the blackboard. I desperately copied it in my notebook, and even though I wanted to hear the explanation, the teacher only spoke about the main points and quickly moved on to the next topic. What a shitty teacher. At the speed we were progressing, I had no chance to ask questions. I had to move my pencil with breathtaking speed. And to my surprise, the other students maintained their composure while writing in their notebooks. At the point where I was no longer able to catch up, I seemed to lose sight of the destination and became a lost child. I didn't even have a chance to speak up. And surprisingly, the other students continued writing in their notebooks without losing their composure. I couldn't believe it. I was so far from catching up, I didn't even know where I should aim. I was completely lost.
うちが近いからって、もう少しよく考えるべきだったかも。
Because my house is so close, maybe I should have thought a little more. Now I thought it was too late to even keep up in the city. My precious time had already ended, and it saddened me. And the most troubling part, during break time I could overhear everyone loudly talking. These girls were chatting about their favorite brand at some trendy shop. About men putting on makeup, bands, magazines that they don't sell in Okinomiya, and love stories. Words I'd never heard before were flying back and forth at high speed. Even with my full attention focused on listening, none of it made any sense. I could hardly believe we spoke the same language. It was like communication from a foreign culture. Meanwhile, I just felt like an alien. My first day was only beginning, and my longing for a city life was transformed into anxiety and disappointment. I was overwhelmed. It's like me back during like middle school age when I moved from the Texas city that I used to live in as a kid to like Florida. At least school-wise. Where she's like feels so out of place. She's like, what are these things they're learning? Makes no sense. It was like reverse that for me. Where this is me. I'm not even claiming the Texas school system was great. But even as a kid, when I moved from Texas to Florida, I was like, wow, this feels like I took 2 steps down. Like, what is the problem with the Florida school system right now? And apparently everyone in my family felt that. It's busted. Okay, meanwhile, I just felt like an alien. My first day was only beginning, and my longing for a city life was transformed into anxiety and disappointment. I was overwhelmed. What should I do? Will tomorrow be any better for me? And then, while I was feeling beaten, that was exactly when a helping hand was extended to me.
何かお困りかね？転校生さん？
Do you need any help, transfer student? Huh?
や、こんちは。
No, we got like a remixed version of this music. I feel like we haven't heard like this tune in forever. What's this name? Chisato? Chisato? Nice little, what, pigtails? Twin braids things? I don't know how hair works. Hello.
今日もいい天気だね。
Nice weather we're having today. I was holding my head down at my desk alone when I heard a voice beside me and looked up. There, a cheerful girl with pigtails. It is pigtails. Got it. Was staring at me with a smile on her face.
はい。
Yeah.
こんにちは。
Hello. I rushed up right quickly and struggled to squeeze out a reply. Suddenly, I turned my eyes out the window. Good weather? But today, it's raining. Poofed. Ha 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 ha.
面白いね、あなた。
So is this character this arc's like Mion? Are we gonna have like direct parallels for every student? Interesting, aren't you? Huh? Me? Apparently, I had mistakenly expressed a sentiment from my heart. Then, when I saw laughter rising to this girl's face, I knew I was being made fun of. Of course, come on, I put everything I had into an angry glare. Wait, let me read this line again. Of course, come on. Of course, comma, come on. I put everything I had into an angry glare. Then...
ああ、ごめんごめん。
sorry.
それよりさ、
Leaving that aside, I opened my mouth just a bit to reply and bare the whites of my teeth, trying to get control of the situation from this girl.
挨拶代わりにちょっと聞きたいんだけど、
Instead of a greeting, I'd like to ask you something.
あなた何か病気してない？
Are you feeling sick?
え？
Huh? I stupidly raised my voice upon hearing that unexpected question. I'm sure my eyes turned into dots and my mouth was half open.
別に。
Not really.
私しばらく風邪もひいてませんが。
I haven't caught a cold for a while.
本当に？
Really?
体が重いとか熱っぽいとかは？
Is your body heavy or feverish?
あ、腹痛でも恥ずかしがらずに正直に言ってみてよ。
Oh, don't be shy. Even if it's just a stomach ache, try to be honest, okay?
女同士なんだからさ。
Because we're fellow girls here.
私本当に何も。
Well, really, it's nothing. Nothing. It must be. In response to that, the girl standing before my eyes looked straight at me. It was making me more and more anxious. First off, who asks, are you sick, as the first thing you say to a girl you don't know? Am I acting so obviously abnormal that even a stranger can see it?
私。
Do I...
そんなに顔色悪いですか？
Does my complexion look pale to you?
いや、全然。
Nope, not at all.
むしろ健康そのもの。
You look like the image of health itself. Shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake. Okay, that was completely unexpected. I struggled to avoid falling out of my chair. Man, these characters are wacky. If I fell over here, by tomorrow everyone would be laughing at me. No joking.
なんですかあなたは。
What's with you?
いきなり。
All of a sudden...
でもさ、
Well?
病気ってのはパッと見だとわからないもんだよ。
I couldn't tell if you were sick just by looking at you, could I?
特にやばい病ほど体の奥深くに潜伏するものだから、気づいた時には手遅れとかよくある話でさ。
If it's deep inside your body, you might not notice until it's too late. It's a common story.
そうなんですか？
Huh? Is that so?
そうなんだよ転校生さん。
Right. That's right, transfer student.
私君吉です。
Oh, my name is Kimiyoshi.
君吉夏美。
Natsumi Kimiyoshi. Yeah. I shyly repeated my name the same way I said it during homeroom this morning, and the pigtail girl grabbed me by the shoulders and looked into my eyes with a twinkle in her eyes. That's a clunky way of putting that sentence. She grabbed me by the shoulders and looked into my eyes with a twinkle in her eyes. Look at me criticizing clunky writing. Or clunky translation, maybe? I don't know.
そうなんだよ君吉さん。
As if I'm some kind of writing expert. Come on now. Who do I think I am? Right. That's it. Kimiyoshi-san.
いや、この際だからフレンドリーに言わせてもらおう。夏美さん。
No, actually, let me refer to you in a more friendly way, Natsumi-san.
病気というものは怖い。
Illnesses are scary.
とっても怖い。
Very scary.
初めは大したことないと思って放置していたら、あっという間に悪化して取り返しがつかなくなる。
At first, it may seem like it's not a big deal, but your symptoms can quickly deteriorate and you may not recover.
そうなったら怖いでしょ？
Wouldn't that be scary?
怖いよね。
It's scary, huh?
いや怖いはずだ。
No, you should be scared.
違うか？
Don't you agree?
はい。
I would be like, can you please stop yelling at me? I don't know you like this, random girl. Yes.
怖いです。
I'm scared.
そこでだ。
That's it.
そのためにも医学において重要なのは現在健康であることではない。
That's why being healthy right now is not the most important facet of medicine.
これから健康でいられるかというその一点に尽きるのだ。
Because can I be healthy in the future is the key point.
つまりそれは何か。
In other words,
それは隠れ潜む病気を早期にあぶり出し発見し撲滅すること。
it's discovering hidden diseases early on and properly eliminating them.
その結果として得られるのが家内安全七国宝章焼肉定食だ。
And the end result is a safe family, a healthy nation, and good food on your plate.
であるからして今は健康だと思っていても定期的に健康診断を行うことがこの先長きにわたって日本を支えていく若人としての義務いや使命
So even if you think that you are healthy right now, getting regular medical checkups is your long-term duty to support Japan. No, it's your mission.
ロイヤルデューティーフリーなのだ
Loyalty, duty, that's it! I'm sure she wishes this person didn't reach out an extended helping hand.
で、あんたは何が言いたいわけ？
Oh, another new character, great. So, what are you trying to say?
悪いことは言わない
I won't say anything bad.
うちの病院に入院しなさい
Check yourself into my hospital.
あ、なんならこの私がこの手で事前にじっくりねっとり予備診断を
Oh, if you'd like, I could take my time giving you a preliminary diagnosis with my very hands.
そのワキワキと動く手はやめんか。
Stop waving your hands erratically. Bruh. Suddenly, an unknown girl delivered a blow to the back of her head. The girl with the pigtails fell to the floor screaming.
痛いな
That hurt.
いきなり何すんのさタマコ
What was that all of a sudden, Tamako? It's probably Tamako. Tamako. Like tomato. Tomato. Surprisingly, however, the pigtailed girl was able to stand up and turn to her assailant. Unlike me, who was stunned just watching, the other girl broke in, swinging a dictionary. She sighed with exasperation and then began to speak.
それはそのまま私のセリフだっつの千里。
I'd ask you the same thing, Chisato.
初対面の子を不安がらせて楽しいのか、あんたは。
Do you enjoy making a girl you just met feel anxious?
彼女は転校してきたばかりなのに、明日から登校拒否にでもさせる気？
Even though she just transferred here, are you trying to make her refuse to come to school tomorrow?
失礼なことを言うわねあんたは
That's rude of you to say.
私はとてもフレンドリーに自己紹介も兼ねて君吉さんに話しかけていただけよ
I was being very friendly, introduced myself to Kimiyoshi-san.
今の会話がフレンドリー？
Is the current conversation still friendly?
キャッチバーのお兄さんの方がよっぽど親しみあるっつの。
It's friendly like an old man in a swingers bar.
お願いだから、この学校のイメージをガタガタにしないでちょうだい。
So please try to avoid rattling the school's image.
この程度の和訳茶でガタガタになる学校なんて将来が知れるというものよ
Schools rattled by this kind of scandal will become infamous in the future.
これからの時代は個性をいかに伸ばすかに教育の重きを置くべきなのよ
In the future, you ought to educate yourself on how to extend your personality.
目指すはナンバーワンではなくロンリーワンってやつよ
Aiming for number one, you'll end up a lonely one.
それを言うならオンリーワンだっつの。
Saying that, maybe you're more of an only one.
あんたは孤独を愛する吟遊詩人か。
And why are you talking like a loneliness-loving minstrel? What the fuck is going on? This is too much. Natsumi's like, I'm overstimulated by what's happening. A high-tempo conversation between these two girls was unfolding right in front of me. It was amusing, but it was so fast I could barely keep up. Huh? And when she finally noticed my surprise, the girl playing the part of the straight man in this comedy looked at me. Her smooth, light hair was cut a little above the shoulders. This girl was pretty good looking.
ごめんごめん。
Oh, what a compliment.
横で大騒ぎしちゃって。
Sorry, we're making a big fuss over here.
びっくりしたでしょ？
It's startling, huh?
ああ、いえ、その。
Huh? Oh, no, it's...
はい。
Yeah.
正直でよろしい。
Haha. Glad you're being honest.
改めて、はじめまして。私は牧村玉子。
Let's start over. I'm Tamako Makimura.
このクラスの学級委員長をやっています。
I'm this class president.
よろしくね、君吉さん。
Nice to meet you, Kimiyoshi-san.
はい。
Yes.
こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
Likewise. Pleased to meet you.
で私は
And I'm...
この子は1分以内に忘れていい。
Oh, you can forget this girl within a minute.
見かけは変だけど、中身もやっぱり変だから。
She appears strange on the outside, and she's strange on the inside too.
おいこら
Got her ass. Hey!
友
達に向かってそりゃどういう了見だ。
What kind of thing is that to say about a friend?
友達？誰が？
A friend? Who?
もう許さ。
It's on. Makamura-san was quick to take action. She angrily raised her hands towards a pigtail girl swinging a dictionary, and it made contact. The front cover vigorously smacked into the other girl's face, then she fell dramatically on the spot. I was seeing an impressive brawl, but when I looked around, the surrounding reaction was cold. Rather, the people around even looked sympathetic. Perhaps these two had exchanges like this in class every day? But the whites of this girl's eyes were peeling. Has she collapsed?
大丈夫ですか？
Are you okay?
ああ、平気平気。
No, it's no problem.
見かけ以上に頑丈にできてるから、この子は。
That girl is sturdier than she looks.
それに、なんせ佐伯大病院のご令嬢さんだからね。
Plus, her family runs Psyche Major Hospital, you see?
もし大ごとになっても、最高の医療で手当てしてもらえるから、問題なし。
If anything serious happened, she would receive the best medical care possible, so there's no problem.
そういう問題じゃ。
I don't think that's the problem. Huh? Psyche? When I heard that name, I suddenly remembered. Come to think of it, I went to the biggest general hospital in this town with Grandma on the day I moved here, and I feel like Psyche Hospital was its name. Then, could it be?
そう。
That's right.
知る人ぞ知る佐伯病院の一人娘なのだよ、私は。
I'm the only daughter of the family running the well-known Psyche Hospital.
あ、自己紹介まだだったね。
Ah, I haven't introduced myself yet.
私は佐伯千里。
I'm Chisato Psyche.
よろしくね。
Nice to meet you. I hadn't noticed her recovery, but Psyche-san had apparently gotten up. She seemed to be acting grandly like a lady, but her dignity was compromised by the swelling on her nose.
あと、呼び方はちーちゃんでもちーでも何でもご自由に。
Also, feel free to call me Chi-chan, Chi, or anything you please.
よろしくお願いします、佐伯さん。
Pleased to meet you, Psyche-san.
いやー、ちーって呼んでよ。
No, Chi is what I want you to call me. Eek. Suddenly, I was being hugged and instinctively let out a fierce cry. This Psyche-san might be a dangerous person.
苦しいです。
I can't breathe. Let me go.
やめなさいっての千里。
Please stop this, Chisato.
君吉さんマジで引いてるじゃないの。
Kimiyoshi-san's really struggling there. Hmm?
私のことをちーって呼ぶお願いを聞いてくれたら話してあげるけど。
If you refer to me as Chi, I'll leave you alone.
そりゃお願いじゃなくて脅迫だ。
That's not a request, it's a threat.
それより鼻水拭きなさい。ほれ。
Also, you should wipe the snot off your nose.
あ、本当だ。
Oh, you're right.
って誰のせいだ、誰の。
Who's responsible for this? Who? When Psyche-san finally released me, she snatched a tissue from Makamura-san and angrily blew her nose. Despite the current situation, more than anything, there was something I had to confirm.
何、君吉さん。
What is it, Kimiyoshi-san?
その、
That,
それで私、どこが悪いんでしょうか。
about me. How do I look ill?
え？
Huh? A blank look. Makamura-san and Psyche-san widened their eyes and looked at my face. Maybe what I asked was a mistake, but if I actually looked sick, I needed to go to the doctor as soon as possible. Then, laugh, 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 laugh. Laugh, laugh, laugh as well.
いいよ、君吉さん。
I like you, Kimiyoshi-san.
あなたナイスキャラ。
You're a nice character. Huh? Huh? That'd be me, huh? Not only Saiki-san, but Makamura-san too, they both burst into laughter at once. I didn't understand the meaning behind their sudden burst of laughter. While I scratched my neck, my eyes began to water and I started to panic. I didn't think it was that funny, but their laughter grew even bigger. With friends like these, who needs enemies? That was my first encounter with those two. Since that day, the two of them had been my best friends, and they taught me all about the city. Excellent tips like how to wear my school uniform and how to apply colored lipstick. Morning shampoo, how to make friends, and more. Taught me a lot I didn't know about how to live this life. And the three of us would go on what we called extracurricular lessons, going to busy places like the front of the station. Going shopping, watching movies, chatting over fast food. I wasn't good with crowds, but everything felt fresh, and it was fun. This urban life was full of anxiety, but thanks to my two friends, I was gradually growing familiar with it and beginning to enjoy it. And a year later, I became accustomed to my life now, finding things I wanted to do little by little. This city girl wanted to improve her grades more and more. And then, more than anything, like most girls, I wanted to fall in love. If wishes come true, like the hero of a romance manga I read before, that person.
そうだ。千里ちゃんに借りていたあの漫画返さなくちゃ。
Alright, I have to return that manga I borrowed from Chisato's-chan.
それと、たまこちゃんにはカセットテープを貸して。
And lend that cassette tape to Tamako-chan. Huh? My brain slowly awakened, and I began to wonder what time it is right now. I looked at the bedside alarm clock with my sleepy eyes. Oh no! Wow, I'm late, very late. No way! What should I do? I jumped up in a hurry, threw off my pajamas, and put on my uniform. Ugh, there was no time for a morning shampoo. I at least tried to comb my hair. I don't know why I said wet there. I thought I said red wet hair. With a brush, but it was so tangled that I couldn't fix it. Gross. What is this? Besides, the person reflected in the mirror looked different from yesterday. There are huge pimples on her forehead, sitting there like uninvited guests. I can't go to school like this. Sniffle. I have to hide it. It's better to be late than to show up looking uncool. Chisato-chan overslept like this once before and carelessly came to school wearing a nightcap. For a while, our classmates referred to her as the nightcapper. But Chisato-chan was okay with it. She was cheerfully laughing along with them. I just can't understand the depth of her heart and her unlimited values. Wait, that sort of thing really doesn't matter. It's not working. I struggled hard to hide my acne with my bangs. Somehow I succeeded, but it took a long time and I only finished at the last minute. I'm late. Mom, why didn't you wake me up? Satisfied that I somehow managed to deal with my appearance, I ran down the stairs toward the dining room table and saw Mom having a relaxing breakfast. What a sleepyhead. I tried to wake you. You didn't respond. That was not an answer. Then, forget it. Would you like to have breakfast? You know, there's no time for that. Natsumi, are you on a diet? That's an unhealthy, unsound thing, and your mother won't forgive it. That's not it, okay? How did she interpret the situation that way? Where did this diet idea come from? Mom sometimes made flimsy remarks like this, like some kind of uncultured person. Mom insisted I should have breakfast, but I headed for the bathroom. There, I ran into Dad trimming his beard. I bashfully apologized and quickly washed my face. It was a rather rough wash. Couldn't complain about it, but Dad continued shaving behind me. I love having a kind and gentle father, but I can't always depend on him to act that way. But I guess that's inevitable, since he lives surrounded by 3 ladies. Besides, I can never imagine Dad exploding at a little word like Mom does.
なんだ夏美、
What is it, Natsumi?
思い出し笑いか。
Are you laughing at something? Through the mirror, I saw Dad tilting his head when he saw me giggle.
なんでもないよ。
No, it's nothing.
なんだかうちってすっごく平和だなって。
Well, I just thought our house is really peaceful.
そうかな。
Is that so?
まあ確かに平和が一番。父さんの若い頃はな、ラブ&ピース。
Well, sure. Peace is the best. When I was young, love and peace.
なんか古い。
You're so old.
ってそれどころじゃなかった。
That's not what I meant. Shutting out the story about Dad's youth, I struggled with my tangled hair again. I managed to deal with the acne, but I was upset with all the sleepyhead hair. Ugh, maybe I should shorten it like Tomoko-chan.
夏美ちゃん。
Natsumi-chan. Huh? Looking back at the voice from behind me, Grandma was inviting me in the door.
何おばあちゃん。
What is it, Grandma?
私急いで。
I'm in a hurry.
急いでるならおばあちゃんが髪言ってあげようか。
If you're in a hurry, shall I tie your hair up?
本
Huh? Really? Ever since I was little, I've loved having Grandma do my hair. Her hands were wrinkly but warm. She was able to style my hair better and faster than I could on my own. Besides, it was comforting to have Grandma gently stroking my hair. How wholesome.
夏美ちゃん、髪伸びたね。
Natsumi-chan, your hair is getting long.
当？お母さんより？
Longer than Mom's?
うんうん。
Yeah, yeah.
あの子も綺麗な髪だからね。
That girl has beautiful hair, too. Grandma smiled and narrowed her eyes. Come to think of it, the neighbors often praise Mom for her beautiful hair. That sort of thing never happens for me, though, I humbly said with a blank expression. That would be like saying the side dishes at dinner are luxurious.
でもちょっと長すぎるかもね。
But it might be getting a bit too long.
なんならおばあちゃんが切ってあげようか。
Would you like Grandma to cut it for you?
いいよ。
Huh? It's fine.
この町の子はみんな美容師さんに切ってもらうんだから。
Everyone in the city goes to a hairdresser to get a cut.
そうなのかい？
Is that so?
雑誌モデルとか芸能人がよくやってる流行の髪型があってね。
Yeah, they do fashionable hairstyles like the kind you see on magazine models or celebrities, you know?
みんなでそれを真似してみたりするの。とっても可愛らしくなるんだよ。
Everyone is trying to imitate them. They're really cute. Oh. A shadow cast over Grandma's expression as she looked in the mirror. Maybe I said something wrong.
そうかい。
I see.
近頃は夏美ちゃんもずいぶんおしゃれさんになったしね。
You become quite fashionable these days, Natsumi-chan.
すっかりこの町に馴染んじゃったんだね。
And quite familiar with this town, huh? I could feel Grandma's fingertips fill with strength. The next moment, the brush caught on the back of my hair and pulled a little. Ah!
ごめんね夏美ちゃん。
Oh, I'm sorry, Natsumi-chan.
会いたかったね。いけないおばあちゃんだ。
It hurts, huh? Grandma mustn't do that. Grandma stroked my head and blew on it. It started to tickle, so I got up to brush her hands away.
あ、夏美ちゃん。
Natsumi-chan.
まだ終わっていないよ。もう少し。
I haven't finished yet, just a little longer. I looked in the mirror and saw that some of my hair was trailing from my neckline, unable to be tied. But if I spent any more time on this, I would definitely be late.
いいのいいの。ちょっと無造作なのがいい感じだもん。
It's good, it's good. It has a bit of a nice casual feel to it.
ありがとう、おばあちゃん。
Thanks, Grandma.
夏
Thanks,
美ちゃ
Grandma.
ん、よそ様の子みたいだよ。
Natsumi-chan, you look like a child from far away.
Eh?
Huh? One unexpected phrase from Grandma had me choked up. A child from far away. Why would she say that? What did that mean?
おばあちゃん、
Grandma,
どうしたのそんな。
what's wrong? What are you saying?
沖宮にいた頃は寝癖のままでも学校に行っていたのに。
When we were in Okinomiya, you weren't getting enough sleep, but you went to school anyway.
おばあちゃんは沖宮にいた頃の夏美ちゃんが可愛くて仕方ないよ。
You were so cute back then.
おばあちゃん。
Grandma,
嫌だね。年を取ると
oh, it's nothing, just my age talking.
環境が変わったら 人も変わるのは当たり前なのに。
It's natural for people to change when they move to a new environment.
おばあちゃん、ふるさとが懐かしくてね。
Grandma's just feeling nostalgic about her hometown. After she said that, Grandma looked depressed. Oh, depressed Grandma. But she quickly raised her face up and smiled at me. Seeing that smile made me a little nervous, but I quickly let it go and glanced at my watch. Yeah, still okay. We'll manage somehow.
それじゃあ私学校行くね。
Well then, I should start heading to school.
あ、夏美ちゃん、
Oh, Natsumi-chan,
まだ終わってないでしょ
you're not done yet. Huh? I had my hand on the sliding door ready to leave, but she suddenly caught me. Grandma gave me a sideways glance and a sticking smile.
う。お社様にお参りは？
Would you pray at Oishiro-sama's shrine?
お社様にお参りしなきゃダメだよ。
Neglecting to pray to Oishiro-sama is no good.
そうでしょ、夏美ちゃん。
Don't you think, Natsumi-chan? Grandma was smiling, but her eyes were narrow. Sure. Pray at the shrine. Grandma dragged me to the living room in front of the shrine. Oishiro-sama does not care if you're late for school. Right beside me, Grandma politely clasped her hands together and offered a wholehearted prayer. I followed suit and muttered words like magic spells. Whenever Oishiro-sama was brought up, Grandma started to act like a different person. She often gratefully told us Oishiro is always watching. But on the other hand, Grandma also seemed afraid of being constantly watched. Oishiro-sama is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, the village where Grandma was born, but I can't pray the way Grandma does. Grandma told me that Mom and Dad were united thanks to the blessing of Oishiro-sama, who is also a god of marriage, but I heard from Mom that they fell in love in college, and Mom was always unhappy with Grandma's obsession with Oishiro-sama. After all the trouble I went through to adapt to the city, I often complained to Dad that I wanted to avoid practicing smelly country customs. Damn. When we left the old house and Okinomiya moved here, Grandma insisted on putting a shrine in the living room. Mom was strongly opposed to it, and eventually grew into a terrible Cold War. Mom and Grandma didn't speak with one another for a week. Dad stood at the forefront of the mother-daughter war, but maintained a neutral stance. But in reality, I think he was just pretending not to see it because it was bothersome. Aside from the issue of Oishiro-sama, the family is quite close. The time I spend praying to Oishiro-sama with Grandma, in this room with an inexplicable Shinto shrine, feels bizarre and undesirable. We had physical education in first period today, but I told everyone at the start that I had a cold, so I've just been watching the class. In reality, I'm just skipping. Since I didn't get enough sleep and skipped eating breakfast, if I tried exercising in this condition, I would keel over and get taken to the nurse's office. Then the school would call home, and I wouldn't want Mom to get angry. Plus, today was Saturday and I had important business to take care of later, so I needed to maintain my strength.
Hi, 次
Okay, next!
準備はいい
Ready?
おっしゃ
Alright,
ー行くぜおりゃ
let's go! Today's exercise was the long jump. Everyone in class was gathered around the sandbox, excitedly discussing records and other topics. I was just an observer, sitting a bit uncomfortably in the shade a short distance away, all alone.
夏美、具合はどう？
Natsumi, how are you feeling? Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan were concerned about me, so they came out of the class circle to sit with me and talk. And Chisato-chan placed her hand on my forehead while looking me in the face.
熱はないみたいだけど。
Looks like you don't have a fever.
喉痛い？
Maybe a sore throat?
体だるいとかは？
Does your body feel sore?
あ、
Yeah,
ちょっとね。
a little bit.
大丈夫？
Are you alright?
保健室で寝ていてもいいんだよ。
You could sleep in the nurse's office.
平気。
Yeah, I'm okay.
心配ないから。
Don't worry. Tamako-chan also looked at my face with a concerned expression. Both of them seemed to genuinely worry about me. That's why I couldn't tell them I just didn't get enough sleep.
それにしては元気なさそうだしさ。
You don't seem very energetic, though.
いっそのこと千里の病院で見てもらえば？
Oh, maybe you should get checked out at Chisato's hospital.
ね、千里。
Right, Chisato? Huh?
そうだね。
夏美なら特別にお安くしとくよ。
That's right. We might be able to offer a special discount for Natsumi. After she said that, Chisato-chan finally let out a laugh. Based on that alone, I couldn't tell if she was being serious or if that was some strange sales pitch. I answered, no thank you. Come to think of it, when Chisato-chan first introduced herself on my first day at school, she said, if you get sick, you can always visit my Saiki hospital. Like another sales pitch. She's really just trying to get me to that hospital. What's their angle? Of course, the whole class is a little uncomfortable about her, but is still a class legend. I think she's a bright, fun, lovely girl. Her taste and behavior are something too. According to the class questionnaire, she ranked #1 for girls you'd want as a bad friend. Wait, girls you'd want as a bad friend? And ranked on the bottom for girls you want as a girlfriend. Incidentally, as for where I rank, they will carry out another questionnaire after final exams this year, so we will find out then. I'm kind of looking forward to the results, but more than that, I'm anxious about it.
まあまあそう言わずに、うちの病院はいいよ。
Needless to say, it is. My hospital is pretty good, you know.
ナース服は薄いピンクに短いスカート。
The nurse uniforms are light pink with short skirts.
そしてお注射ですよなんてしゃがんだ時にちらっと見えるかすかな胸元の谷間を意識した V 字ネック。
And they say things like, are you ready for your injection, with V-shaped necklines faintly revealing cleavage when they crouch.
そこいらの男衆なら鼻血ブーの代物だ。
Going there is a popular source of nosebleeds. Wonderful.
どうだ
How about it?
見たいだろ。
You want to see it, huh?
いいよ。
I'm fine.
ちょっと風邪気味ってだけだから。
Just a bit under the weather. Also, no matter how cute the nurse's clothes are, I'm not interested. There's no reason for that. Furthermore, V neckline cleavage? I absolutely don't want to see that. Looking at that would be depressing.
この時間だけ休めば大丈夫だよ。
This time, if I get some rest, I'll be okay.
病院なんて大げさだな。
Going to hospital would be excessive.
もう
Hmm?
それならせめて健康の印として体操着を着なさい。
If that's the case, please at least wear your gym clothes as a sign of health.
体育委員としての命令だ。
That's an order from a PE committee member. Eep. After she delivered that ultimatum, Chisato-chan leaped into a 3.5 twist jump. Note, it is quite an image. Wow. Then she proudly pointed with her index finger. I looked up at her in awe. What is the story so far?
佐藤
Chisato?
別に見学なんだから制服のままでもいいでしょうか。
She's just observing, so what problem is there her wearing her normal uniform? After saying that, letting out a quick sigh, Tamako-chan happily entered the struggle. Still, Chisato-chan was energetic. Her eyes were blinking excessively and she began to speak out in a hot tone.
何を言うかタマコ。
What did you say, Tamako?
いいかよく聞け君吉夏美。
Listen carefully, Natsumi Kimiyoshi.
前の学校はいざ知らず、この学校、そしてこのクラスでは体育の授業を受ける者は体操着を着るのが決まりなのだ。
I don't know about your old school, but in this school, in this class, the students in physical education class are required to wear gym clothes.
そしてそれは見学者もしかり。
And that includes observers too.
そんなルール、今初めて聞いたけど。
I'm only hearing this rule for the first time now.
そもそも体育の見学とは何か。
First of all, what is an observer in PE?
見学とは実技授業を休むにあらず、それならサボりと同じ。
An observer is just someone skipping out on the practical lessons portion of the class.
ならば違いは何か。
Then where does the difference lie?
それは授業に参加しているというただそれだけの事実だ。
Simply in the fact that you're participating in the class.
つまり見学者は皆の実技実演をその目にしっかと焼き付けてイメージトレーニングをしながら次の体育の授業でついてこられるように努力することが学生の本分。
In other words, it's your duty to burn everyone's skillful performance into your eyes, doing image training that will allow you to keep up with everyone in the next lesson. And Chisato is just too much. Just too much.
いや、本会なのだ。
No, not your duty, your cherished desire.
わかるか、チミ。
Do you understand?
いや、わかれ。
Understand!
わかってるよな。
You know what I mean! So, what are you really saying?
私は夏美のブルマー姿が見たいんだ。
I want to see Natsumi and Bloomers! Bloomers Bonsai!
ボルマリアン。おー、はい。
Viva Bloomerian! Oh yeah, baby!
というわけなので履いてください、ブルマ。
So please put on your bloomers.
風紀。
Disciplinary committee members,
このアホをつまみ出して。
please take this idiot away.
いやー。
No!
夏美助けて。
Natsumi, help me!
この妖怪モテない娘が私と夏美の仲を嫉妬してる
This monstrous girl is jealous of our relationship.
の。誰が妖怪だ。
Who are you calling a monster? After she said that, Tamako-chan struck Chisato-san or Chan on the head while she was still clinging to my body. I can't keep up with these two when they get like this, but if I was able to keep up with them, I feel I'd lose something important as a person. Anyway, Chisato-chan had me in a tight spot, a really tight spot. She was making my body her plaything, hugging, rubbing her cheeks, etc. This degree of physical contact was hard to deal with. Thanks to her incredible arm strength, her grip was so tight that I couldn't move, and escape was no longer possible. Also, all the girls around us could see us acting boisterously. Actually, some of the classmates have started to take the Kimiyoshi cross-psyche couple theory quite seriously. Ah, come on. Stop staring at us, people. Nya nya.
夏美はちっこくて私の体にジャストフィットなのよね。
Natsumi is tiny. She's a perfect fit for my body.
このまま抱き枕にしたい。
I want to make her my body pillow.
ふりゃ
Yeah.
佐藤ちゃん、古い。
Chisato-chan can't breathe. She squeezed me even tighter. I couldn't move. Wait a minute, Chisato-chan. If you keep this up, I'll get sick for real.
おーい、佐藤。
Hey, Chisato.
夏美本気で苦しがってるよ。
Natsumi's seriously in pain.
早く帰ってこーい。
Cut it out.
あ？
Hmm?
おっとっとっと、ごめんごめん。
Oops. Sorry.
ついつい本音が出ちまったい。
I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know what happens in this story, but I'm just gonna say, you know that phenomenon where it's like, oh, it's like, I know there's like a term for it. I remember talking about this like years ago on stream, I think. But the whole, like, oh, you're so cute, I could kill you type thing. There's like a term for it. And that's what I'm gonna guess is gonna be this story. We're way too early into this arc, but I'm gonna believe that Chisato is so into, yeah, like cuteness aggression. Yeah. Only to turn the dial to the extreme level. I bet my guess is Chisato is so into Natsumi that she murders her. With that, Chisato released my body. Then she gives off killer vibes. With that, Chisato released my body. Then she stuck out her tongue at me. My mind was telling me that it looked really long, like a frog's tongue, but I wanted to dismiss that as my imagination.
でもさ、夏美。
But Natsumi,
真面目に診察受けた方がいいんじゃない？
isn't it better to get a proper medical examination? Stop telling me to go to the hospital.
夏風邪って結構タチ悪いんだよ。
A summer cold is really bad for you.
大丈夫だよ。
I'm fine.
そんなオーバーな。
I don't need to go that far.
いや、オーバーじゃないよ。
Yes, you do.
さっき抱きついた時、首の後ろにこれくらいのあざ見つけたしさ。
When I was hugging you a minute ago, I felt a bruise on the back of your neck. What the hell does that mean? Also, like a clue, like I'm playing Clue. I'm gonna say it's Chisato is gonna murder me in her parents' hospital. That's why she wants me to go there. It's gonna be the scene of the crime. It's all foreshadowing really early here.
もしかしたらもっと深刻な病気って可能性もあるかも。
Maybe that's a sign of a more serious illness. I don't even know if this story is supposed to be like upsetting or not. Like I don't know if this is supposed to be like a sad story or bad story or a good one. Maybe this is a fluff story. Maybe I'm just assuming the worst. Hard to say. Huh? Is that true? I ran my hand across my neck to verify it, but of course, it was in a blind spot that I couldn't see. Tamako-chan, how does the back of my neck look? Let's see. This is...
それにさ、なんだか夏美の顔、朝からとっても青白いしね。
Also, your face has been looking very pale since this morning.
これってあの病気の初期症状じゃなかったっけ？
Is this an early symptom of that disease?
かもね。どうしたもんかな。
Maybe. What's wrong is... Huh?
そうなの。
Really?
どうしよ
What should I do? When I noticed how seriously these two reacted, I suddenly became anxious. I haven't had much of an appetite these days, and my body has sometimes felt dull. Many thoughts ran through me. What should I do?
万が一不治の病とかだったら。
If by any chance you developed an incurable disease,
う。サクッと注射でも打ってきたら？
maybe you'll need a shot.
ぶっといやつ。
A fat one. Huh?
注射はちょっと。
Shots are kind of...
じゃなくて、かなり怖い。
No, they're pretty scary. The scales teetered between incurable disease and extreme injections. Both of them sounded scary. Both sounded painful. Ugh. When the two of them saw that I was suffering through the ultimate choice, they both looked at each other. Then... I hate them. Their shtick is getting old. These friends suck. By the time I realized I'd been had, it was already too late. The two of them were holding their sides, laughing and giggling loudly. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Got you. Wow.
夏見たら本気で悩んでるんだもん。
Oh, Natsumi. I can't believe you're seriously worrying about it.
もう。
Come on.
佐藤ちゃんひどいよ。
Chisato-chan, you're terrible.
たまこちゃんも。
Tamako-chan, you are too. Chisato-chan pinched my cheeks with her fingertips while looking into my face. When I covered my face with both hands, she went for my forehead.
もう、かわいいわね。
Come on, you're so cute.
夏見ってばさ。
Aren't you, Natsumi? Huh? Huh?
なに
What?
ごめんごめん。
I'm sorry.
ちょっとからかっただけなの。
It was just a little joke.
どうせ夜更かしでもして寝不足ってとこなんでしょ。
Knowing you, you just stayed up late and didn't get enough sleep, right? Tamako-chan guessed correctly, as I'd expect from the class president.
でも
But
私本気で悩んじゃったんだから。
I was seriously worried about it.
そういう嘘はやめてって前にも言ったでしょ。
Haven't I told you not to lie to me like that?
警備を決め込む夏美が悪い。
It's your fault for pretending to be sick, Natsumi. She hit the nail right on the head again. Meh.
夏美は考えてることがすぐ顔に出るからね。
Natsumi, your thoughts are written on your face, you know that?
今日だって見学届を出すときにもろ申し訳ないって後ろめたさが全開だったしね。
Earlier today, when you were just watching, you had the look of a kid with their hand in the cookie jar.
もっと開き直ってもいいのにさ。
You need to up your poker face.
だって。
But...
ほんと、夏美ってからかいがいあるわね。
I swear, teasing you is always worth the trouble, Natsumi.
よしよし、かいいかいい。
You're so gosh darn cute.
だった。
Really? Chisato-chan hugged me from behind and pressed her cheek against mine. If I continue receiving excessive or abnormal physical contact, maybe I'll actually start to like it. As if, because I'm normal. That's enough, Chisato-chan. You're tickling me. Don't be shy. It's no big deal. Squeezing your cheeks feels really good, you know. Ayo. Stop already. I'm glad I was born a woman. You can touch girls like this all you want, huh? No, Chisato. Respect boundaries. Don't abuse. Yeah. If you were a guy, we definitely wouldn't be friends anymore. Don't worry. Even if, oh boy, even if it was just the two of us on a desert island, Tamako, I wouldn't lay a finger on you. That's good. Catching some strange illness would be no laughing matter. Am I some kind of fungus? Like usual, I bitterly smiled at their exquisite comedy, and then I heard a voice calling to Chisato-chan from far away. Chisato! It's your turn at the long jump. Hurry up and get ready. Oops, gotta go. Well, Natsumi, I'll see you later. Okay. Good luck. Yeah. Oh, Natsumi? Your part-time job is today, right? Yeah. As soon as class is finished, I'll head over. Then, do you want to ride there? I'm going out with my father today, so we can pick you up. Is that okay? Well, if you don't mind. I cheerfully nodded to Chisato-chan's gracious proposal. It's not surprising. Chisato-chan's family runs a major hospital, so sometimes she rides there in a car after school. It was an elegant car with a very comfortable ride. At first I hesitated to ride together with her, but now, honestly, I felt lucky to have the opportunity. Well, it'd be better if the cigarette smell would air out, huh? Oh, really? That never bothered me, though. Also, the seats are soft and comfy. Then it's a date. Oh boy. In a closed room with Natsumi, just the two of us. Nobody will be there to disturb us. This Chisato character. Making me uncomfortable. Anything is fine. Just going already. Huh? Pow! Tamako-chan kicked Chisato-chan in the butt, but Chisato-chan stuck out her tongue and pulled down her eyelid, then dashed away toward the athletic field. It's probably impossible for either of them to become the number one girl you'd want as a girlfriend in the next class questionnaire. Actually, the boys were uncomfortably watching the entire exchange. Sob. They probably see me the same way, but Chisato was bright and friendly like the sun. I loved it. Chisato is always full of energy. Just watching her is invigorating. Seems that way. She's fast. The boys are still overwhelmed. Chisato-chan was making a big fuss involving other classmates, and Tamako-chan was watching in awe. Tamako-chan is actually somewhat introverted. She told me that when she was young, she would shut herself in at home and read books. Even so, in the beginning I was surprised to learn that Tamako-chan, one of the brightest scholars in the school, and the naughty, vivacious Chisato-chan were best friends. Apparently the two of them were childhood friends. Of course, they also seemed to be perfectly compatible for each other. I was envious of how well they got along.
今日はいい天気だね。
Nice weather today, huh?
足焼いちゃおうかな。
Maybe I should tan my legs. After she said that, Tamako-chan took off her socks. Then, she threw her bare white feet out into the sunshine.
あれ
What's that? I fixated on Tamako-chan's toes. Oh no, she had bright red nail polish painted on her toes.
やっぱ気づいた
Hmm? Oh, you noticed.
先生には内緒にしてね。真面目ないい子ちゃんで通ってるんだから。
Don't tell the teacher. I'm still passing off as a diligent student. Sure. Tamako laughed and giggled, then she stretched her arm up to the sky. For me, the pedicure is a symbol of an adult woman, like you see on TV in the unknown world of actresses and models. But even Tamako-chan, who was rarely fashionable, had a pedicure. It was mundane, nothing strange, no big deal, and yet, even for such a minor thing, I could feel the difference between us. I felt trapped by my lonely feelings, stabbing me in my chest. In the chest.
あれ
What's that? Suddenly, I noticed someone wearing a school uniform in the flower bed on the other end of the field. A person was sitting there in the shade of the buckwheat, and seemed to be drawing a picture.
どうしたの夏美。
What's wrong, Natsumi?
あそこの花壇にいるの。
There's someone in that flower bed over there.
ああ、アキラちゃんね。
Oh, that's Akira-chan.
そういや、夏休みまでに提出課題があるって言ってたっけ。
That's right. He mentioned something about assignments that had to be submitted by summer vacation. Tamako-chan said that the scholarship students also had it tough, then laughed. Normally, students wouldn't be permitted to go outside and paint during class, but he was special. Akira Todokun. Whatever. I tried. Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan told me he was talented enough to win in a big competition with professional artists, and he entered the school as a scholarship student. The competition happened before I transferred here, so I don't know much more than that. It was a big fuss around the whole school, with reporters pushing for interviews. And surprisingly, Akira-kun was also a childhood friend of Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan. So after I became friends with the two of them, they later introduced me to him. I was able to see his work with my own hands. It was all really shocking. It was impressive.
どう夏美。
How is it, Natsumi?
なかなかのもんでしょう。
Quite special, don't you think?
まあほんと人間誰しも何かしらの取り柄があるってことだよね。
Well, really, all humans have some talent or another, right?
千里にだけは言われたくない。
Oh, look at this guy. This definitely not catchy Maibara. You're the last one I want to hear that from.
いやちょっと褒めただけで照れるなよ。
Come on, it's just a little compliment. Don't be embarrassed.
今の褒め言葉だったの？
Right now, that was a compliment. Chisato-chan was standing beside me, making a fuss with Akira-kun, but I couldn't take my eyes off that picture. I was drawn in from the bottom of my heart. The green of the trees had a vivacious shimmer. The many colorful flowers seemed to shine brilliantly. The sky was colored only blue and white. It was simply a painting, but it didn't just look painted. It had the breath of life and time. It had beauty and power beyond the picture.
こんな素敵な絵を私と同じ年の人が描けるなんて。
Someone the same age as me was able to draw this amazing picture?
夏美
Natsumi. There was no jealousy or inferiority complex in my heart, just respect and admiration. So my eyes began to tear up, and Akira-kun's unfriendly mood changed to surprise.
その
Huh? That,
よくわかんないけど。ごめん。
not sure I understand, but I'm sorry. Huh?
違うの。
Oh, that's not it.
私絵を見てこんなに感動したの初めてだったから。
This is the first time I've ever been so moved looking at a picture. Huh?
私全然何も取り柄がないから 偉そうなこと言えないけど、
I have no talent, so I don't think I'm qualified to critique it.
本当にこの絵とても素敵だと思う。
But I really think this is a wonderful picture.
こんなに花とか草木が綺麗だなんて私今まで思ったことがなかった。
I've never thought of flowers and plants being so beautiful until now. At that moment, I saw the face Akira-kun was making.
ありがとう。
Thank you. He was blushing a little red, but he was smiling happily, looking straight at me. Yeah, even now, I could remember it clearly. Because at that moment, I realized I like Akira Kun. Akira Tutu-kun. Alright, she's got a crush on the guy. How fucking obvious. She was earlier saying she wanted to fall in love. Alright, we'll call it there for reading. Let's find the save slot. Perfect. Great. Wow, just under 2 hours. That almost worked out perfectly from what I was wanting. Alright, we'll probably read more of this probably Saturday. We'll read more. New arc, new characters, new situations. Is it going to be a happy story? Is it a sad story? Is it a spooky story? Who can say? We'll never know.